If you had the opportunity to live in a children's wonderland, would you choose anywhere else? We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
To Real Talk with me, Anele Mdoda. Today's guest is a vivacious actress. She's a media personality who I personally feel has done wonders for newspapers and magazine sales over the years because she is the prime example of no publicity is bad publicity. She's a powerhouse in her own right. She laps up the spotlights, first appearing on our screens as Doobsie in SABC2 Sobi Mubango. Since then, we've seen her on every channel, heard her on the biggest radio stations in the country, and we've also seen her on the silver screen in the 2016 hit film Happiness is a 4-letter word. But for today, however, happiness is a 6-letter word. Spell it with me, Khanyi. Khanyi Mbau, if you are still wondering, welcome!
Thank you so much, finally.
Listen, girl.
Can I get comfortable? These chairs are bigger than what they look like on TV.
Right?
Yeah.
You look like the 80 million Mandla lost there.
Are we going all the way back there? Was there 80 million though? That's the question.
Oh, this is why you're here. Because I marvel at your skills. But listen, where's this dress from? Sorry, I'm obsessed with
This dress is from Tando. She's a designer in Randburg, and she asked me to wear the dress, and I said with pleasure. Yeah.
Look, you walked in and I was like, it's a vision.
Oh, thank you.
It is a vision.
I'm coming to your show, so I had to get it right, you know.
No, this is this right here is everything.
Thank you.
You know, when you say you from, and I like that you never use I'm from the dusty streets of Soweto. For you, Soweto was glam from word
No, it
go.
was glam from day one. It was never dusty. The only time it was dusty was probably in August because of the season.
Yeah.
But the dust that everyone speaks about, I'm still yet to find it.
To you, you lived in Buckingham Palace.
My love, to me, that little big house was a palace to me because it was so full of love. It was fun to be in, and they allowed me to imagine and believe that I'm a princess. So for me, that was Buckingham Palace.
I think that's more, okay, so I mean, it was a pretty house, and yes, you're comfortable, but I also believe that's more people creating it to make it like that.
Yeah.
Who is this person who was so instrumental in making you feel so happy and loved and protected as a child?
My grandmother, Mrs. Mbau, that's the Mrs. Mbau, because my mom isn't Mrs. Mbau. Mrs. Mbau, Gladys, gave me that. She always, told me to always imagine myself where I'd love to be and create that world for myself. She said to me, as much as we are in Soweto, if you see yourself as a princess, imagine it, see your garden full of roses, and it makes your life better because what you put out to the universe is exactly what you're going to get back.
So how did you get punished? Because I mean, in Buckingham Palace, like when kids do wrong, I think
I was taken to the dungeon and I wasn't fed for 6 days. I'm joking.
And the servants were not allowed to serve
no,
you?
they weren't supposed to talk to me.
Yeah?
No, I got punished like every other kid. I mean, my parents used to beat me up. I
Yeah.
used to get like the belt and I used to get whooped. So I would get grounded as well. No TV. I wasn't allowed to go play in the street with my friends. So I did get punishment from my grandmother.
And you say your parents, so your mom and your dad were always in the picture?
My mom and dad never got married. My dad was an active force in my life. He would always come and see me. As much as parents had their own differences, he wasn't allowed to walk in because at the time, meaning he didn't pay for the damages. So the family did not allow him in, but he always came to see me like a boyfriend. He would park his car outside. I would come out of the gate. I would sit next to him in the left seat. He'd bring me ice cream. He'd bring me toys. He'd sit with me for like 2 hours and then drive away.
So what I know about these stories where the dad comes to visit, there's always like a specific, either a tropica or a red cake.
No, for me it was the money.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So
my
he
dad
gave
was a
you
taxi
money.
owner, so he always had lots of money with him. And my dad was a typical Zulu man who didn't know how to raise a child. All he felt was just give her money and she'll be happy. So I got clever at some point where I didn't even tell my mom all the money that I had. Because when I got to school, I was straight bawling. Yep.
You were in charge.
Yes.
Is that where your relationship with like abundance of money started? Because I always feel like money just finds its way to you.
It does.
Ne?
I have a
Unelakhe
relationship
imali
with
wena.
money. No, I just think money recognizes me. Money is comfortable around me. Money likes me. So money feels when it needs someone to talk to, it'll choose me in the crowd and it'll come and sit next to me. Whether it comes in a form of whatever, but it will choose me. My dad, I mean, I was allowed to visit my dad over the holidays.
Yeah.
So every time Amateksi got back home, bazochekisa, my dad would let us count the money because he felt, as a young child,
Don't be scared of
if
it.
you're surrounded by money and you see it in heaps, you will understand it. It will get used to you. You will get used to it. And it's success for you to always have money in the palm of your hands. So he said to me, even if you're not counting right, just count it. So he would just dump the money in front of me and my sister Tandega and say, count.
Do you know what? Because a lot of like me and my girls, right, when we were like coming out of varsity and then, you know, you're starting to date, you know, guys who are working and all of that. And upejo, you know, and then like when the guy takes that money, you're like, you emailing haka.
Yeah.
So this is why I struggle.
Yeah. That's why. Because parents, I think in the black communities, the only problem that we have is we are taught to make your bed shanyelibala, make the stoop shine.
Yeah.
And where else, and I'm sorry to make this black and white,
Go
where
ahead.
white families teach their kids to run companies, to become a dreamer, go travel the world. And that's the difference. That's why black people don't know what success is. And we don't understand it. When we get it, we feel we need to be apologetic about it because we were brought up to think you need to know how to make your bed, make tea, how to wash the dishes, instead of understanding how to become what you need to be.
Do you think black people teach their kids, you know, I'm all for humility and I love it, but
Yeah.
I feel to a point where we're teaching our kids to be humble in case you fall and you don't have anything. But if you were nice when you had everything,
Yeah.
then people will be nice to you when you've got nothing.
No, we teach black people, and when I say we, because we're in that race.
Yeah?
As black people, we teach our kids a life of service instead of a life of paying for what you want to be comfortable. That's why when black people get it, it's not being humble. Don't get humble wrong. It's a life of service. If the first thing you teach your child is how to make your bed, how to sweep, that's teaching your child how to live a life of service.
But isn't that just like chores and plain manners? White kids also have chores.
Yes, they do. But don't make it a do or die. How we grew up was if you don't clean the stoop when you wake up early in the morning before the neighbor does, then you are in trouble. Instead of wake up, be proud of living in a clean house. Rather get your chores done before you do anything so that you can have a longer day. But we're told if you don't wake up and next door, their stoop is shinier than ours,
They'll be
you
held
have
to pay.
failed me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
wrong. That's
Did
wrong.
you ever have like a piece job, like, you know, packing plastics or selling oranges? Like
No, my dad owned a chicken licken at a very young age. So,
girl, you had hot
when-
wings from what go?
Girl, look, I was always feeding the monkey. I was always feeding my monkey. So school holidays and June 16, you know, these public holidays,
Yeah.
my dad would let his staff go off and have a free day. So he'd take all his kids, there are many of us, from different mothers.
11.
But he brought us up together, so we're like siblings. He would put us in these shops and say, you need to run this because I have no one who's going to run it. And this is your money at the end of the day. So we'd all split the chores. You run the till, you make the chicken, you do the ice cream, you read the orders, you choose that. So I was always given that, but we never got paid. So that's why we stole the ice cream with my sister.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I mean, now you're learning about her. So Khanyi has learned to own her moments, good, bad, embracing it all in her journey. After the break, we continue catching up with Khanyi. See what I did there? Right here on Real Talk, SABC 3, the channel where the stage is yours. And welcome back to Real Talk. Today we are all hanging out with Miss Fabulous Extraordinaire Khanyi Mbau. This is a woman who was raised by a woman who she called the Queen of England, right? In Soweto. So was there any sign, because I mean you hit fame quite young, 19. And I mean, I don't mean like fame, I mean fame.
Sure, girl.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like on a superstardom, right? Pretty young.
Yeah.
Prior to that, at 17, at 11, at 9, was there any like hint that this was gonna be you?
There was always a hint. At the age of 7, I did Kid Your Kids and Kalubi, a Dragon on SABC 1. So I was
wanted to be on
constantly,
Kid Yo.
really, I met Mr. Chinwag
Oh,
and Molly
you met-
Metronome.
and Natasha.
And Timothy Traddle.
And Timothy
They were
Traddle.
my homies.
Oh.
They spoke to me.
And Molly Metronome.
And Molly Metronome, yes, yes. So I was always on TV at a young age, but obviously I needed to focus on my schooling because the Mbau family is quite academic, and they didn't believe in art.
Do they now?
They do. I mean, my grandmother was a ballroom dancer, but they still felt that you need education first,
Yeah.
and then treat it as a hobby. But I've made them believe.
You've made them believe.
I've made them see.
So the Mubango auditions,
Yes.
who called you to tell you that they're casting?
No. My sister was in an agent where it was a friend of my mom.
Okay.
And I was available because I used to go to college. And my
Yeah.
mom asked me to take my sister to the SABC for her casting. Buhle is 10 years younger than me. So I took her, and at the passages of the SABC where they asked us to sit, I was running lines with her.
Okay.
And that's when the director heard me play the character that I was running lines with. And he was like, so you're not here to cast? And I said, no, my sister is. Can we cast you as well? And that's how I got a role in Soul City. And she didn't get the job.
Okay, but you guys weren't going for the same job.
No, she was going for a younger version.
Okay.
And when I was helping her, because that was the character they were also looking for, they just asked me to come do my thing over the camera.
And that was like your first stint as an adult in TV.
TV, first stint, first sitcom or soapy on television. Yeah.
And then when Mubango came around?
So I was doing Soul City. It was the same week where we were shooting and Lindy Tsibi got shot by the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
Your men have been trashed. Yeah.
from day one.
From day one.
Yeah?
Yeah?
You know, it's just that it wasn't in our faces. So Bab Duma then had a crisis. He had to find someone who had the same personality, was equally as strong to carry the character, because Doobsie was quite a big storyline
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
So, and they couldn't kill her off because the story had to carry on. It was at a cliffhanger. And then he looked at me and said, "You've got a bit of ghetto in you. Can you play the role?" I then was asked to audition. When I got to the SABC, you name it, all the big stars that I always saw on TV
Were they?
were in the same room as me.
Were they auditioning with
They
you?
were auditioning because Bab Duma took every female that was acting at the time because he had a crisis. So he was trying to get anybody into the character.
So he basically took a risk with you.
He took a risk, and he was the only man out of our Tony and everyone else in the
Yeah.
panel that fought for me, because they all felt she's a bit too young. She's never acted.
Yeah.
She doesn't have skill.
She doesn't
How
have
do you know?
pull, and right now
will
we're
South
in a
Africa
crisis.
accept her?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Give this child a chance. She's got it in her."
I marveled when I found out that when you were shooting Mubango as Doobsie, there would be media there.
It was
Sowetan,
Hollywood.
The Star, Pretoria News.
It was Hollywood, literally, like the paparazzi, literally. From me leaving home, because I was picked up by the Mubango car, which was a 7 series. I was followed to work, and from me changing, from me getting to work, from me, how will she do it? And it was a soapy within a soapy.
Yeah.
They followed me everywhere. I was young. I always wanted this fame, so I wrote it. I was temperamental. I didn't understand set etiquette. But in my mind, I always watched Marilyn Monroe, all these, old Hollywood films. So I went in there
glam of
thinking
it.
I could just throw my toys out the cart. I could be a diva. So the media loved that, because every time I was on set, there'd always be an argument. There'd always be a situation, and it was great for the papers.
Also, you were playing to the gallery then.
I
obviously.
wasn't. I was under pressure. I was scared. So when you're under pressure and scared and nervous, when anyone says anything negative, you're about to explode.
You don't think that this guy's a director, he's been a director for 30 years.
No.
When he
I'm
says
doing
deliver
you a
the line
favor.
like this.
I'm doing you a favor. You lead me here. And that was what's going on in my head. They were feeding the monster.
Wasn't a little bit of you kind of holding them hostage because you knew they can't recast you because of where you found the soap, and the fact that they needed this to work because it was such a big risk?
Probably in my subconscious, that's what was going on. But for me, I was literally playing out all my dreams as a little girl of being the
princess.
superstar with all these cameras, and everybody wanted an autograph. Everybody wanted to see me because the country wanted to see who's this 17-year-old who's going to take a 28-year-old's role and play a married woman and save the show. And how tabloids were putting headlines out, Khanyi Mbau saves Mobango, Khanyi Mbau to save the soapy. So I had the savior syndrome going on, that they need me, they want me, I'm a star, South Africa needs me.
Did you experience any hostility from the cast?
Yes, women don't like it when a new woman comes in and she's the new toy. I was literally the new toy. So it was quite difficult, and the fact that I don't have any skill of being to university to do drama, I'm raw talent, made it even worse. So real actresses didn't understand what was the fuss with this raw talent who hasn't been to school, who's illiterate in the world of art. How can she possibly be taking the shine? And other people felt they were in the show for over 21 years. And here comes this hood rat who wants to change the set into a market. Why?
Do you still speak to those actresses now? Have they ever, like, you know, just run into you, maybe go to Rose Bang and be like, woo, Mara, you were a nightmare?
Now they do, because I had to humble myself and apologize.
Oh, you
There were a
did?
lot of people that I had to apologize. You know, with growth comes a lot of understanding and a lot of acceptance of your mistakes. And there are things I still think about now, and I cringe, and I'm like, ooh,
I did that.
And when I see the person, I need to apologize and say, I was young, I was famous, I was new, I'm so sorry. Now I understand. So
And they've accepted the
they've
apology.
accepted it, yes.
And they've moved on.
Yes.
Speaking of young, you once said this about your ex-husband, Umandla, that if you had to ask him a question right now, you would say to him, did you know that I was just 19?
I would still ask him. I'd love to ask him. Because, I mean, I'm now 32. I would never date a 21-year-old. Because I feel that the conversation would not be the same. Now, Mandla was 30 years older than me. What did he possibly think he would get out of me? But then I understand that he was a political prisoner. He went to prison when he was 22 as well. So clearly his life was put on hold. And he was literally living his 22-year-old life through me.
So
So
when you
it
guys-
wasn't a relationship.
So when you guys were having conversations, did you ever feel like you are putting on maturity because you're talking to this old guy, or you're like, this guy's...
No, he was my age. The funniest thing is, he was my age, but to be honest with you, I don't remember the conversations. All I remember is us deciding on color, us deciding on where to eat, us deciding on the cars, us arguing, not being in the same car because we don't like the same music. But we never had conversations. It was always about money, money, money. What's next? What are we buying? Where are we going? But we've never had a heart-to-heart conversation.
Where you feel like, I know him, like...
No, the only conversation we ever had was conceiving our daughter. And that's the only real conversation I think we've ever had that's everlasting.
So I'm gonna take an ad break. When I come
I'm
back,
gonna
I
fix
want to
this.
know how he approached you. That's what I want to know. What was the first sentence out of this guy's mouth? We'll be right back with more with Khanyi Mbau. In the meantime, if you have any questions for her, you can send us a 20-second voice note to the Real Talk WhatsApp line on the screen. That's the number. Do not move. And welcome back to Real Talk. Today I have the artist formerly known as the Queen of Bling. Do you still...
I like artists.
Yeah, of course you're an artist.
Beautiful.
Of course you're an
I
artist.
love it.
You, I mean,
Do you know how hard I work to get the word artist?
really?
Words that I've always dreamt about having. Actress, artist, singer, classy. Just attach that to my name, please.
When you, whatever it is you're saying about me, just
You
say
know,
those four things.
so I had to work hard to get those names.
But then why do you say that you've been in the industry for 12 years and you've only been working for 2?
You know, in the industry, there's a tone that you come in.
Yeah?
And I earned myself, you know, things like gold digger, bad girl gone good, or bad girl, socialite, party animal, life of the party, you know, rat. Those are the names that you get. And I was like, but I want classy too.
So
I want sophisticated.
in those 10 years, you said that's who you were, and then you shook it off,
Then I shook it off.
and then now you're working.
Now I'm working. Now I get the, now like you said it, artist,
Artist.
actress, radio DJ. Oof.
Stage thespian, man.
No money can buy you those names.
Oh.
No money can buy you those names.
Oh.
I don't care how much money you have, you can't buy those names.
How did Mandla approach you?
It was a place called Divine Lounge.
Ooh.
I had my cowboys, Amstel, Koyo, and Jeff. We walked into that place. We turned it upside down like we usually did back in the day. You felt us when we came in. We were on tables. And he spotted me, and he just liked that loud-mouthed girl that had braids up to her knees. And he was, oh, shucks, I've always had inches, yeah. You know, so he was like, that's the girl. And when he spoke to me, he said to me, I'm going to marry you.
And you said?
And I looked at him and I laughed. Didn't see him for the next 6 months, and I bumped into him at the Beverly Hills Hotel in Durban. I was checking out. He was checking out. They had no shuttle to get me to the airport. And he said to me, well, you can use my Porsche or my car. Leave it at the airport. I'll get it there when I get there. I thought it was a joke. And I was like, remember we met? And I said, I remember you. And he said, I'm still going to marry you. Can I have your number now? And I said, okay, you can have my number. But I still thought, you Porsche, because he didn't look like a Porsche.
Yeah, no.
So I looked at him, I was like, you a Porsche,
Yeah,
whatever.
no.
But anyway, here's my number.
You did well at polishing the product.
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Porsche. Anyway, here's my number. Second time, it's enough. I can give you my number. Then I left. Then he called me a week later and he said, let's do breakfast. We did breakfast for 3 months without knowing where we both stay, what we both do. Okay, he knew what I did. But it was just literally, every morning when you wake up, can I feed you?
I think that's the most romantic thing a man
It was
can
so
say,
romantic.
by the way, for me.
And that's all he said.
Me, I love you is, are you hungry?
He said, I just want to feed you every morning of your life. And that's it. Then you decide after that.
So it was a proper courtship.
It was.
And like now you're falling in love, but you
So
can see the
now-
life, most.
No, I didn't see the life. But how I saw that there's something there is every time we went for breakfast, there would be a new shoe every day. Because after breakfast, we were like, because there was Castello across from Bedford Center.
Yeah.
So every time we ate, he'd say, let's go across and see what's there. So I ended up having the whole range because every morning I'd come in and get another shoe. And that was just our ritual. Like after we eat, we get you a shoe.
Eggs Benedict a la shoes.
You know, a la shoes. You know, bacon a la shoes.
Bacon a la shoes.
There we go.
And okay, and then when do you decide
And
I am
then-
his girlfriend?
After 3 months, he then said to me, we've been eating for 3 months breakfast. Can we do dinner now? And I was like, okay, that's fine. Because like morning conversations about the paper, about the weather, it's starting to get a bit rusty. So I had a flu on the night we were supposed to meet. And he said to me, okay, rest. Can I send you medication to wherever you are? Or a doctor, or the hospital, the whole hospital if I need to.
Yeah.
And I was charmed. I was like, okay, just show me what you got.
None of the time you feel like this guy's a
No,
old for me.
he was a great guy to have a conversation with, but I don't remember the conversation or what we spoke about. But we spoke clearly, and I enjoyed being around him. And I think he stroked my ego. And it was still the Doobsie days where I was a star.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Probably he told me about every episode that he saw every night because he watched everything I did.
And you were like, you're superstar.
I was like, yes, yeah. Did you like how I kissed you? Yes,
Yes,
You know,
come through, man. Come
Exactly.
through.
So I had a flu, and he brought the whole pharmacy to my house with a pharmacist, with different things, with different medicines. And he said, I was sent by Mr. Mtembu to bring you medicine. Please choose what you need, to check your vitals and everything. And then the guy left. And I was charmed. I was like, oh, what is this? Who's this Madala coming through with? And two weeks later, they said, can we now do the dinner? And he said to me, I'm going to give you an address. I'll meet you at this place. That was the Melrose Arch. And it was just built. And a young black girl does just get to the Melrose Arch.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Barley, and I said, this is his address. And she was like, probably it's a restaurant. I was like, no, it doesn't look like a restaurant. She was like, nah, he's taking you to like meat company or something.
Yeah.
And I went. And when I got there, I called him at the gate because you couldn't get through. He came down smelling like cologne with a silk shirt.
Smelling like Dubai.
Listen, like a Tyrese because it was dark and bald, coming down the stairs. Wow, and I was like, okay, this seems right. This could be me. This could be my life. He held my hand, helped me up the stairs. There was a smooth jazz playing. The penthouses you see on MTV Base, where it's like double doors.
This sounds like Pretty Woman.
Yeah, double
Only,
doors.
you know.
The kitchen is lit, wooden floors, everything is square. And at that time, I'm from Gomas. I'm not used to the square life. Everything is stainless steel. The views are breathtaking.
You used to be room divider as a Bradley.
And he leaves me downstairs to take it in, and I know he did it on purpose. He went upstairs, left me here, and I took it in, and I was like,
I'm never leaving here. I'm never leaving.
okay, all right, can you bow? To add to your fame, this is the house you need.
I mean, that thing, your balance.
Then he took me to the balcony and he said, I don't know how to cook. My lashes loose. If it falls, South Africa, do not
Right,
fight me.
babes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he took me to the balcony. He said, I don't cook, so I made hot dogs. So a man that's heavily dressed in like silk Versace makes you a hot dog. The house is right. The music is proper. Melrose is lit. Like, I was taken.
So wait, are you never, because now I'm putting myself in your shoes.
Yes.
Are you not like, oh my word, I have to sleep with him soon?
No, I was thinking about my vehicle and my creation. My creation is Hollywood. I grew up, remember, seeing myself and watching the rich and the famous. So I forgot the intercourse part. I saw him as a vehicle and he's giving me this life. So he cares for me.
So up until you did, become intimate with him, it didn't scare you?
No. What I realized as I went through myself and my journey,
Yeah?
I then realized that I was actually worshiping this guy more than loving him. For the past 3 months, he behaved like my father, who was never there, to tell me and congratulate me of all the great things that I do. Because every morning he would tell me of my interviews, things he's seen, show me papers of me. So he was
that
dad.
tension.
It was the tension of growing up in a female-dominated house without having a father. So I literally saw him as my hero.
Because all of a sudden there was a
Yes.
constant male energy that
Yes.
was validating
And
you.
he didn't want to sleep with me. He was like, I'm not going to sleep with you now. I told you, you're my wife. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to marry you. So then came a time where he said to me, I would do anything to make love to you right now.
And then?
But because of so much that he had done for me, and the Porsche was already there by that time, I felt in my young 19-year-old mind, that is the only way to thank this man. And it felt right, because he was my prince in shining armor.
So you had to reward him for all the
why
rewards.
would I say no
Yeah.
after everything? And I always say to women, a man with money, when I talk to girls now that want this life, a man with money is not the one paying for everything. He gets you everything, but you are the one that's paying for everything. A man with money will get you everything, but you're paying for it. Because there's a part of you that you are allowing someone to own, and you'll forever be, you need to serve them and thank them.
Okay, I have to go to an ad break, but wait, don't roll ad break yet. I want her to say that again. A
Yes.
man with money
Will give you everything, but you will pay for it.
Okay, we just got real with Khanyi Mbau. Today, the stage is hers. We'll be back in a moment. And we're back and we're talking to the lovely yet so often misunderstood Khanyi Mbau. Later, I'll talk to you about what Selo Makangule said about her. Before we get into that though, I'd love to dominate this conversation, but obviously I need to allow you here so you can ask your questions. So we've got some questions for you from WhatsApp. This is from your fans. Let's hear the first one.
Molo sis Anele, this is Sekum Kolona coming in from Tata and Anele, and my question for Khanyi Mbau is, as a celebrity, people do not think you're human. They usually think of you as a brand, and I'd like to know if you've ever felt that much pain when you're being attacked as a brand.
No, I never get to that point. I feel the pressure of the attention, but I've understood my calling, that when you're here, you belong to the people. You are relief to anyone of their reality. You are a soundboard for someone who wants to feel perfect.
You are relief to anyone of their reality.
Yes. We are like sangomas. We are like doctors, so we can never get tired of seeing sick people. And trust me, the fan can get sick. Even the internet can get sick. But it is our job to allow them to scrutinize our lives so that they feel better. We are also healers. So if a doctor looks at you and goes, oh my gosh, she's half naked on TV, she has no class. I mean, look at us, women that work very hard. I'll never be like them. It's giving her belief that she's doing great, and it's pushing her to become a better self. So that's what we do. We are the people that take people's sins. We just need to become a sponge and just take it. That's what we do.
But how much negativity can one person take though, Khanyi?
You can take as much as you allow yourself to take. You see, Fame is like an elastic band, right? You need to know how far you can stretch. And once you feel you're about to snap, then you need to take a break. Get out of the limelight. Celebrities are afraid of taking a break. To not be seen. Don't go to an event if you don't want people talking about your hair. Don't release a new song
If you don't want people criticizing the song.
criticize. So you need to understand that stretch yourself as much as you can. But there is no such thing as what is enough. There is enough that you can take. You control this whole thing. You are the director of this movie.
You are the one counting the money.
That's it.
Okay, next question.
Oh, hi. My name is Colin Makanda from Midlands. I just wanted to say to Khanyi Mbau, she's an inspiration to me because no matter what people say, she keeps on pushing. So keep on pushing, yeah. Sharp.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm afraid of that word, inspiration, role model. I look up to you.
Why?
I do not want those words. Look, I'm humbled when people say them, but it puts me under pressure. I believe that you cannot have a role model out of one person. Reason being, no one is perfect. Not even, maybe Jesus was the only perfect person. But we are all created to fail. That's the type of mechanism we are. We are that type of machine that we are built for failure. And how we come back is how we are built. So for you to say that I'm an inspiration, look, I don't even know at the age of 40 if I'll be chasing young men or I'll be partying my head off. I cannot.
Anything can happen, so don't put me
Don't give me
somewhere.
that pressure. I appreciate if you find aspects of me that you like, but don't say I'm a role model.
This reminds me of a quote from the movie Troy.
Yes.
Where Achilles, Brad Pitt says,
Yes.
the gods envy us because we are immortal.
Yes.
And any given day could be our last.
Yes.
And you will never be as beautiful as you are today.
There we go.
So that's why that's what... Well, smart, yeah, sometimes when...
Thank you, babe.
Okay, let's hit the next one.
Hey Anele, my name is Silindile Mtali from Ladysmith in KZN. I'm very proud of Khanyi Mbau and the fact that she's managed to rise above everything that she's been through. What I would like to know from her is how she still rise and be this beautiful, amazing woman that she is. I would like to know, how does she do it? Like, it's so difficult to impress and please people, but she's just managed to be herself and she's doing it for herself. How does she do that?
Slindile, a person like me will never fail. I could be delayed, I could be late, and sometimes I could probably miss that bus but get the next because I've accepted my journey. I've accepted who I am, and I've accepted that there are certain things that I can and cannot do. And once we all accept who we are, it is easy for us to take tomorrow as a new page all the time. The fact that you wake up means you can do it again. And if you make a mistake now, look forward to tomorrow.
But here we go.
Yes.
Teacher, my hand is up.
Yes, yes.
When you say I've accepted who I am, I know for a fact there are millions of people watching us now because, you are the draw card. Millions of people watching. And they're like, yeah, but if you accepted who you are, why the plastic surgery all the time?
Let's go for it.
Come through, girl.
Go
Come
for
through.
it. Okay. Now I'm going to preach. I'm going to take people to church because I'm from a Christian family, so most of my references come from that. The Bible says I am who I am through Christ who strengthens me. If God is your father, right, then it means you're a God because a dog gives birth to another dog. A duck, the same thing. A bird, the same thing. So if you're my father, why can I not be a God? And the Lord says we are all gods amongst each other. And what does a God do? A God creates, because my Father created this earth through his image. I can create my own visions and my own earth through my own vision, as long as it doesn't affect the next person, but it is my journey. So in my mind, the image and how I see myself is what I'm creating in the physical, because everything first happens in the spiritual before it seeps through to the physical. So how I see myself is the most beautiful woman, flawless, filtered every single day of my life. When I wake up,
Naturally filtered, girl.
And that is the problem. Once we can all start becoming creators of our time, everyone will reach their goal, because you're not looking at someone else for inspiration. You are remembering who you are through the God that created you.
But do you not fear that one day you're just going to have done too much plastic surgery?
No, that's the problem. I am never a person who worries about the next person's worry. I'm worried about mine. And one thing I know is I know what I want to look like, and I know where I'm going. But it may not work for you. And trust me.
But you're
what I
beautiful
believe-
now. Why
For you. And I may be beautiful for myself now, but who knows in 10 years' time if I feel that, nope, change direction, I'm now looking this way. And that is the same example with Caitlyn Jenner. In her mind, she was always a woman, and she created that. Forget the world that you live in. We are just flesh here, but we are not of this world. Remember that.
Okay, now that we're here, who did your, because I want your lift.
Dr. Steinman. Dr. Steinman did it.
Mark.
Yes.
Oh.
Amazing. He's the
All
best.
of you guys go there.
He's the best. He's the best.
Okay, but sometimes I just feel like you're fine though. Like, this is beautiful. No more work.
But why is the next person concerned about the next person? The problem is we don't spend time with ourselves. We're constantly looking over the window, and do you know what that means? South Africans, people, the human race, has lost the value of now, the moment of now. We're always trying to say, I want to get, I want to look, if I could, but you are now. And if you can master that, trust me, 90% of us would be wealthy. We wouldn't have time to be raping, to be hating, to be miserable and depressed. Mental hospitals would be empty. Prisons would be empty. Schools will be filled because we're all living in the now.
I'm just saying, right now you're banging.
Thank you, boo. Thank you, love. Shout out to the makeup.
So the weekly competition is still on. If you want to win, it's really easy. Simply follow the details on the screen. We'll see you for the last time. I'm sad after the break. And we're back today. Khanyi Mbau is our guest, sharing her life, her loves, her career. And earlier I said to you, I'm going to remind her something Selo Makangube said about her. He said that you are the most misunderstood person, and that is why you should play Lebo Mathosa on stage.
True.
Is that what got you to actually play it? And like, you know what, he's right. Let me use this role as a vehicle to me healing.
Yes. He gave me an opportunity to walk in someone's shoes that I felt lived the same life as I did.
Yes.
And I love when you say it was a time where it was healing, because I was writing my book at that time and I was doing the show. So it was in that space, and it really helped me, you know, come to terms with everything and move on.
What's the most scared you've ever been to do something? Be it happiness is a 4-letter word, even your music career. What's the scared you've ever been on embarking on a journey?
How I would survive, or how I thought I'd come back after the nudes were taken out. There's nothing in life that scares me. And I said to myself, I remember lying on my bed and the world was going crazy, like it was on fire. And I remember saying to my sister, if I come out of this alive, death is small, it's nothing.
I've been reborn.
Yeah, literally.
And I mean, when you come into the world,
You're naked.
Right? So that's
and that helped to give birth to the grown me.
So is this when Mr. Tebogo came through?
He found me at a time when I was done. I was finished. Emotionally, I was empty. I had nothing. And he was a voice that I could speak to, that would reason with me. As much as I confused him and his family, but he always listened at that time. And he came at a point where he was sent by God to help me come to terms with everything and to stop the voices in my head.
Do you know what was fascinating? Something that you said is you said in one interview that rich men would try date you as soon as like their money comes through, would try date you to show people that I've got money, because obviously I'm dating Khanyi, which means that I've got money because she only dates men with money. So then how does Tebogo slot into that and be comfortable with the fact that this is what people are thinking?
Yo, it was such a great transition. But he gave me the human side. You see, with a rich man, you can't ask many questions. Your job is to always be there when he needs you. When you're around him, you need to be a certain way to fit into his life. He doesn't fit into yours. But with Tebogo, he wanted to fit into mine. Share the same discoveries with me. With a rich man, it's not about discovery. It's about you're there when I need you. As much as I like you, but don't embarrass me in front of my business partners. Dress properly. But with someone like him, who are we meeting? How are we dressing? Where are we going? Should I wear this? What are you wearing? Should we? Yeah, that's it. So it was fun. because it was a conversation. We didn't think alike. We think together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was it not a different way of dealing with conflict? Because I suppose if you're fighting with somebody who's got a financial upper hand on you, a Lamborghini will shut you up. But if you're fighting with somebody who's here
It's
to
nice. It's
date
stimulating.
you,
It's awesome.
they like, you and I are going to fight and we are going to sort this out.
Yes, and I think that's what got me addicted, was the conversations, the arguments were real. It wasn't about, I said to you, be in Durban at 12. It was literally, I don't want to go to Durban. Why don't you want to go to Durban? Because we agreed. It's that conversation. So that's what made it so good, and I think that's how he hooked me. Yeah.
So this big surprise that you wanted to announce, are you guys married? Are you pregnant again? Because I mean, you're already a mother, and I love the way you make motherhood your thing. You make it your rules, your pace, your everything. So what's the announcement?
No, the announcement is, I mean, you know, I've gotten the biggest achievement. I bought my first sports car myself. Right?
That Porsche?
Yes, the Porsche.
Come here.
So it's the first time, and I've driven these cars before, but this time is different because I bought it myself.
Girl,
I own this car.
Toby Fender knows who you are now.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how you doing? Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a great achievement that I went as far as writing a song to celebrate that I'd love to give to everyone in South Africa for free. On mykanyimbau.com/Porsche. You can download it. It is a turn-up song. Because, I mean, I'm not one to really write about it and talk about cars, but this is such an achievement. Gone are the days where we needed men to do stuff for us. We are doing stuff for ourselves. And if someone had said to me in 2013, you would own your own car, I would have laughed at them and said, please, how, where, when?
Because, you know, every time somebody said you down and out, I'd be like, but I just saw her in a 4x4. As I was sweating, jogging on the street, her hair was flowing, being hit by air conditioner. That girl is fine, but those were not your cars.
No, the 4x4 that you've seen is mine.
Okay.
But I mean, in terms of sports cars.
Okay.
You know, it's an achievement to get the sports car and say it is mine. But down and out, look, I've never been down and out, but for girls in the league that I was playing, that was down and out. But for a normal girl, I was never down and out.
Speaking of down and out, because I heard that you once slept Mandla because he was eating a pie. Is this true?
Geez. We had an argument.
Because girl, I like a
before
steak
that.
and kidney, hey?
I know, me too. No, we had an argument before that.
Yeah.
Then he was eating a pie. And then it got heated. Then the journalist next to us, because he took the pie, and it was like, I'm eating a pie. Then obviously, then that happened.
Crumbs.
I love pepper steak, so...
I was so hurt when I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, what's wrong with the pie?
Yeah.
Okay, so where's the song, My Khanyi Mbau?
At mykanyimbau.com/Porsche.
Okay.
That's where they can download it. It is free. It's featuring a group called G-Box. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Where is this music thing going? Are you with Mabala Noise?
I'm with Mabala Noise.
Okay, so
I'm with Mabala Noise.
You're gonna...
The thing is, I've got a particular sound that I've got, and people don't know of it. So I'm still trying to find how to bring it out, what to do. But this is to celebrate. So if you claim you like Khanyi and you want to know what I'm about now, that's the track. And to celebrate this interview.
So no wedding bells there?
No wedding bells yet. He hasn't proposed.
Oh, that was... Khanyi literally dropped the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leruru, Barry, you have not proposed yet, my child.
So you can't have bells without a proposal.
Okay, so run with it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
This
for
was
having me.
too much fun.
It was awesome, but it's so short.
I know, it's an hour, babe. That's how much you were talking. It was that nice.
Because I think people at home would still want to talk, right?
I know they
wanna
do.
talk.
Let's go on Instagram Live.
I think we should.
We'll go on
Just
your
carry
Instagram
on.
Live. Go on her Instagram. Okay, it's Mbau Reloaded on Instagram.
That's
We'll go
right.
there. We'll carry this on. That's all we have time for today here on SABC3. Thank you so much to my guest, Khanyi Mbau, for gracing us with her presence. And thank you at home for making it all the more warmer. Join me again tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m., same place, same city, right here on SABC3, where the stage is yours. Good night.
That's cheeky.